Hello my art loving friends. In today's video I'll be showing you all the artwork I did in 2025. It is more than I thought, which makes me happy because I didn't think I did a whole lot of artwork in 2025, but I was pleasantly surprised. Plus I'll be telling you what my 2026 goals are. They are short and sweet and hard to beat. Let's start with the first item because it's huge and I need to be standing for it. It is this picture here, which I did in watercolor. I can't see if you can see it or not. And I did this with the Paula Rubens large ceramic paint palettes. Paint pans, technically. They were so much fun. I love this painting. It has texture on it because I used tissue paper. This was a video that was not very viewed. I think, I don't know, maybe people were interested in an American flag, but I wish you would go watch it if you haven't, because it is really a unique experience. Now we're going to move down to the desk and I'll show you all the rest of the artwork I did. Just a quick caveat though, there is always artwork that I forget to show you that I did during the year. Sometimes it's really obvious stuff, like stuff I'm working on right now. Well, it's already 2026 right now, but you get the point. It's like super obvious stuff that I missed, so take what you see and probably add another 5 or 10%, and that's what I did in the year. Let's get started. You can see the pile is large. There's there, not there, here, and here. We'll start with this. This was the most recent things. I'm considering this artwork. This is the shirt that I made with that new printer, and I've done a few shirts since, and I'm going to do a few shirts more this week. But anyway, I have not drawn for the giveaway yet on this shirt, but that is my artwork on a shirt. That was a good video too. You should watch that. I'll link it. And then I think we'll start here because I just need to get this out of the way. This is the bag I put together for Inktober this year, and I'll open that up and show you my Inktober sketchbook. I did not get all of the prompts done, but this is where I put watercolor as a background before Inktober started, and then I tried to get all of the prompts done on each day, but that did not work, so I just did them when I could, and I got pretty far through this, but this will need to go in my unfinished section. This is one of my favorite spreads right here, that and this. Anyway, I have some things started, sketched, and then that's where it ends and nothing is finished, but at least I have a start on it. My cabinet of unfinished artwork is a stack like this tall, and that's actually going to be a series on my channel this year. Imagine that. This Inktober sketchbook will be joining that pile. And I know I still have yet to show you what was in the advent calendar I released, but you know, I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. But these are the sketchbooks that were included in the advent calendar, and this was some of my preliminary playing to see what projects I would include in that advent calendar. And these are quite fun. I love them. This was one I noped. I love this one. My favorite, actually. So this was my practice sketchbook, and this was the actual one where I did this with everyone on the videos. So a little bit more put together, but I actually like many of the paintings in my practice sketchbook equally as well. We did it on separate paper. This one here was separate paper because we got extra paper in the advent calendar, and that was that. And then I teach watercolor classes at the college, and these are all the paintings that were started. Some finished, some not, from that class. Backgrounds for daisies, backgrounds, how to do the centers. I love these little mountain scenes. This is not my own creation. This is something that I saw online and we paint each year. These are my own creations here. Little monochromatic mountain scenes to practice value. And in here, I've done some stuff. This was my son's sketchbook, and there's some old stuff in here. Not dated, but this one's from 2020. But anyway, I did get this back out again for a sketching class that I took at the college. And He was a Disney-influenced artist, and he usually teaches children and decided to teach an adults class. I talked him into it through our supervisor. It was super fun. And so we did these fun little sketches, and he's all about being loose and free and quick, and it was very enjoyable. Look at this. Love it. We got to do some Disney characters, some non-Disney characters. I just thought that was really fun. Look at that. I didn't even know I could draw a horse. Okay, just kidding. I've drawn horses before, but still. This one, he had a sketch. I'm like, okay, it's a good thing those balls are up high by the chin, because otherwise that'd be a weird drawing. Anyway, we sketched way more in that class than I realized. Did some shading. Some perspective. I actually teach a perspective class, so this class was not as interesting for me, but I enjoy learning the same material from other teachers. It's kind of fun to try things like that. Okay. And that was the end of that class, and I have like 3 pages left in this sketchbook, and it'll be done. Speaking of, I should show you the other class I took was online. The cat's trying to get out the door if you hear the doors creaking in the meantime. So, I took the Drawing Human Anatomy course with Erin Blaze online. My sketchbook cover is torn, that's why that's taped. So these were sketches that I would try and jot down real quick while he was teaching his lessons. So some fun stuff here. Mouths, body proportions, and drawing arms. Drawing hands. I love these hands. They actually turned out pretty good. I hated this one when I first did it, but now looking back at it, it doesn't look too bad. Isn't that ironic? You always need to step away from your work for a bit. I was going to practice more hands. I haven't gotten back to that yet. Legs. Feet. Not bad. I actually like the feet. This, except for that one. I like all these other feet. Torso. Ooh, don't look. Gesture drawing. And finishing the gesture, which was pretty much gesture drawing again, but he brought his sketches to a finished state, and I just resketched the same gestures just for more practice. So that was fun. In my own kitty coloring book, I painted this here with Michael Harding watercolors. Isn't that brilliant and beautiful? Those watercolors are amazing, and they will help increase the vibrancy of any painting you do. Second of all, this is really nice 100% cotton paper by Paul Rubens. It's hard to find, actually. I think I bought them out of stock, and now it's pretty much impossible to find it. But if you would like to try their paper, I have a few of these left on my website. If you would like to purchase one, try their paper, because you can see that it does a really good job of handling wet media. Paul Rubens released coloring pages, which are mostly all roses. And well, it says flowers, but I think when I look through this, it's mostly roses. I did one. It's not in this package. I think it's in the bin below, but we'll find out. In this book here, which I take traveling with me, which is why it's in a Ziploc, my should-be daughter-in-law and I did this together this year. That was way fun. We always have fun when we paint together. I think that's it that I did in this book. That one's an old one I've done previously. So I need to work in this book some more. Don't worry, I'll take it with me again. In fact, I will put it over on my to take with me pile right now, because I have a pile going for my month-long trip here. Did this one in February. This is Michael Harding watercolors. Again, see how vibrant and beautiful they are. This is on B cotton paper. This is Aquatone watercolors on Meaden cotton paper. I taught a Paint the National Parks with Me series. Before Emily Olson even brought out her idea of her book, I had this class going at the college for 2 semesters, so I thought that was ironic. This was the reference photo for this one here. You want to see them side by side? I put my own little stance on it. Some of these might be 2024, so if you saw them last year, they are, but I didn't label them, which is really unusual for me. But anyway, there's that. This one was 25. They probably both were 25 in that case. Exact same reference photo, I just tried in 2 different ways. This one I wanted the more foggy, down the middle kind of thing, and this one I kept more separated. And I have these in the unfinished pile because I made my trees too symmetrical. They're too triangular. They need to have some things sticking out. So more like this one. I think this one could mostly be considered done. I need to maybe fix this tree a little bit. But anyway, this was in my unfinished artwork pile because of those trees. Now here is a big version of this same painting that I showed you. This is unfinished. I have a lot of unfinished artwork from this year. So I need to finish that based on this reference photo. And I'll do that with aquatone watercolors. This is Joshua Tree, which I've driven by so many years and I'm actually going to stop by this year, thank goodness. So a big painting, unfinished. So this was in my unfinished bin, and that's with aquatone watercolors again, painted in February. And then in March, I went to a painting workshop and started this painting based on a couple of different reference photos that I melded together, but I didn't finish it, so I need to finish that. That's on Fabriano cotton paper. This one I am super excited to finish, but I have not finished it. This was all with the Schmincke super granulating colors. Super fun. Super granulating, super fun. This is a picture I took at Glacier National Park. Did not label it other than Core. I'm using Core watercolors. I need to finish this painting. This was another Aaron Blaise class, Aaron Blaise watercolor. I started this with Marie's Masters watercolors on Etcher cold pressed paper, which is one of my most favorite papers now. Started this in June, still need to finish it. So many unfinished paintings. This I started as a class demo and need to finish. There's another one in here. You want to see it? I don't know if it's finished yet or not. Nope, that's not finished either. Still got masking fluid on it. So it's more finished, but still unfinished. Okie dokie. This is one I did in that Ian Roberts class that I was talking about that I went to in March, and I will probably put some kind of desert scene on here, some slick rock and whatnot. So another unfinished painting. And another unfinished painting on really crappy paper. I didn't write down what paper this is, but it feels horrible. This is on Fabriano cotton cold pressed paper. This is lovely. The paper. Anyway, I walked away from this to go see what he was doing or to listen or whatever, and this was on a board tilted, and so I wasn't there to catch the backflow of water that ran, and when it has a bunch of water, it'll push the pigment away, and so it made this line down here. That is no problem because this can be painted over with land, slick rock, whatever. So basically this is the same as that one I just showed you, just a little less better. Same here. It kind of bunched at the bottom, but I love the clouds and the sky we have going here, so I can make a good painting out of these two. Another unfinished painting. This was with the Michael Harding watercolors again. Look how vibrant and beautiful, and the burnt sienna in that set is amazing. So I need to finish that. This is one I did in the Aaron Blaise watercolor workshop, and I just need to modify a couple things with the back of the neck here just to refine this and make it where I'm happy with that, and that was with aquatone watercolors. It's gonna take a while. These are backgrounds I did for my reverse painting that I had in my advent calendar, which I will show you guys, promise. This one didn't make the cut, actually. This one did. And then I took a draw week with Kirsty Partridge art and did this eye with colored pencils. Did a color wheel, and then somewhere I did a bear. I think it's in here. Anyway, I have this in the unfinished pile because I actually did not finish the eye. The whole inside is not finished, so more unfinished artwork for the pile. Go unfinished artwork! Woohoo! This is when I was playing with my paint by number machine, and I created several more paint by numbers for the girls for Christmas. I hope I videoed them because I already gave them to them. But I thought about refining these a little bit, seeing if I could make them awesome instead of just So in the unfinished pile it goes. I think a bunch of this in here is unfinished artwork that I started this year. This is the, yep, another Aaron Blaze workshop that I did not finish. So it's not too far away from being finished. I need to finish the trees and get a little bit more darks in the grass and finish the rocks. So this is in the unfinished pile. Dang it all. Darn that unfinished pile. There's more unfinished artwork in here. You ready for it? Rocks with Rosa Gallery watercolors that I need to finish. More rocks that I need to finish. This one I kind of considered finished. I tried to do a wash of white sprinkles over it and it kind of washed out the whole rocks, so I really need to just go back and refine this one again. And this one is actually finished. I love this one. It's so pretty. So I'm going to keep that in there with the unfinished as an example, but this is the paper that I'm really loving. Etcher watercolor paper block, cold pressed, 100% cotton, mixed media, 20 sheets, 350 GSM, glued on 4 sides. You have to make sure you get these 2 wolves, I guess they're wolves, on here, because that is the cotton paper that I really enjoy using. We'll go through this bin here. Marker work you just saw in a recent video if you've watched my videos. This is a modified view of outside my house with Renaissance watercolors. This is with Aquatone watercolors. I love this. Big Bend National Park, part of the National Park series. This I did with the Camel watercolors. Very cheap, very fun watercolors. This was great. This was this a Paul Clark tutorial? I think so. This is Core watercolors on 100% cotton paper, Meeden paper. This is a finished version of that Grand Tetons you saw on the big paper that was unfinished. So here's the finished practice version, Michael Harding watercolors. Here's the little bear I did in Draw Week with Christy Partridge art. That's just pencils. That was fun. This was a successful paint by number that I did with my own paint by number machine and the Artex acrylic markers. Way more fun to use the acrylic markers on paint by numbers, by the way, than paint. Something I just did in class for fun with the Artex acrylic markers when I first received them because I couldn't wait to video them and I just wanted to use them, so I did that. This is a Light Wish coloring page, 100% cotton paper, but it is hot pressed, so a little bit more difficult for me to work on just because I'm not used to hot pressed. I did a Tracy Lizotte Studios tutorial painting a flamingo. Tori, my should-be daughter-in-law, did this with me. And I did show this on community channel maybe, or the community post page, somewhere. I showed both of our paintings. So it was kind of a lot of work, took a lot of time, but we finished. Oh, here's the rose painting from the Paul Rubens coloring books. I used some of the pearlescent paint on it. That was great fun. Yeah, it turned out nice. Their paper's nice. Whoop, here we go. Another Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop painting. I like that one. Aquatone watercolors. This was also from the Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop. Aquatone watercolors. This is all on that etcher paper. Here we go, another Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop. Could probably refine this one a little bit more too, but this is M. Graham watercolors on the etcher paper. Another Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop. This is Aquatone watercolors on Winsor & Newton cotton paper. Lots of granulation going on here, I love it. Another Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop. This is colored pencil and core, and it's Paul Rubens cotton paper. Another Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop painting. That one was fun. He was teaching us about masking fluid. You can probably see the influence of that. Core watercolors on Bao Hong cotton paper. Another Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop painting. Core watercolors on Bao Hong cotton paper. This was from my National Parks and Watercolor class. We did that fun old-time poster of the Redwood National Forest. Everyone really enjoyed this. I used my Kuretake Ganze Tambi paints for this, and you can see they do get shiny in mass tone here and there. but I still love them. This is a painting I started in the March workshop with Ian Roberts just because I needed to do a practice piece, because in my National Parks class we were painting the Zion National Forest, and this is the subway in the Zion National Forest. So this is how my practice piece came out. And I don't know if I ever did this in a big size because I never finished this one, so I finished this one up in class. It's okay. I love this one. This is using just 3 colors. This was for Denise Soden, one of her challenges like last year. I don't really follow her challenges anymore, but this is using just terracotta and cobalt turquoise, I believe. I didn't write that down, but it's Da Vinci watercolors on Bao paper. Love this one. Love how it turned out. I need to make prints of this one. This is the Hanamule Cezanne cotton paper. Lovely paper to work on, and I think this is another Paul Clark tutorial. I do those with my classes sometimes because they're really fun to follow. So this was in class. I like to introduce my students to him and his tutorials and his line art and all of that. It's a great resource. And then sometimes we need filler content for our classes when we have extra time, and I have a bunch of mug paintings that are basically oil paintings, I think, but I like to replicate them in watercolor, so this was my version of it. Himimiya watercolors, I'm still trying to use those up. I'll link that playlist on B cotton paper. And this was the little chick that Rachel Parker Varner showed on her channel, and I like to show my class how to do. So lamp black, wet on wet, you let it flow, it creates these lovely fur effects around the outside edges. I mean, I know the camera's not wanting to focus on it, but look how beautiful this is, how soft and fuzzy. So I actually finished this. I have another one unfinished that I don't think is salvageable, but because the paint came in too far. But the paint also came in pretty far on this one on his head, and I just used bleed proof white to fix it. And this is the big version, 12 by 16 of that Big Bend National Parks one I showed you just a minute ago, but this is obviously slightly different colors. Same aquatone watercolors, but larger size. Another from the Erin Blaze watercolor workshop. I don't know why this one was not in the other thing, but this is Magello Mission Gold watercolor on the Etcher paper. I like it. I have some paintings I did in these Light Wish sketchbooks. I'll pull those out and show them to you. Okay, this one here is 140-pound paper. Whoa. Picture I took at Glacier National Park. I did not follow the picture exactly because I didn't care to. I just wanted the general idea. Super fun. And then I was directly comparing the thicker paper. Same photo. So thicker paper was very nice to work on. They're both nice paper to work on, but I definitely like the thicker stuff. So I should probably pull those paintings out of there, but I probably won't. I kind of like to keep sketchbook stuff together, even though these are loose sheets, could be taken out. I do like to keep them together. And in here, well, you can tell the cats have walked across this a couple times since I laid it out. Bad kitties. Somewhere in here, oh yes, we went urban sketching. I hadn't drawn in this since 2019, and I pulled it out to take urban sketching to the alpaca farm and sketched this with it. And that's all this sketchbook got in it. 6 years later, and now 7 years, and it's going to be even longer. That's okay. This sketchbook here, this is a Viviva coloring book. And I did this here with acrylic markers. In this little thing here, I did that with gouache in January. And then we were in Moab. The guys were working on the race car in May. Tori and I just sketched a bunch of random things. That was super fun. And that's it for this little guy. And this sketchbook here, I started World Watercolor Month in July 1st. I started at June 30th, but didn't finish it all. But I have Radiant, Espresso, Ripple, Fade, Lock. I could do more on Lock, make it a little bit more refined, but I like that one a lot. Hat, Melt, Tired, Home. I love this one. Schminka's Volcano Brown is amazing. Actually, this whole spread is my favorite. Spicy and Rumble. Cavern. I like that one too. That was with Daniel Smith's Mayan Dark Blue. I added a couple of extra colors in there. This one's on video somewhere. Stretch. I don't know what that one is for. What's after Stretch? That's supposed to be for Dusty. And then I have many of these sketched out. Chair is actually done. That's sketched out but not painted. Perform, sketched out, not painted. Started a painting, sketched out, not painted. Group, I like that one. Avocado, using just Schminka's Forest Brown. That one is sketched out. A cute little puppy howling. Sea, using Schminka's Deep Sea Blue. Isn't that beautiful color? And this was in plein air at my friend's house, so that was kind of fun. So I guess I better put this sketchbook in the unfinished bin as well. In this aquatone sketchbook I received, I just did some fur exercises with my class based on Emily Olsen's videos. That's it for that sketchbook. And then this you saw recently. This is the Arteza sketchbook where I printed out the little pictures. I'm so excited to bring those on my trip with me and use them. This is the Artex acrylic markers. That's watercolor. I love this one. I love it so much. Fun little sketchbook to use. Another Arteza sketchbook in the same video. I did this. Another little printout. Different type of their acrylic markers. Well, I guess this back page is a different type. This is their liquid ink ones, which I am taking on my trip with me. Love them. Still have to decide which sketchbooks to bring. Really good goals last year to do this every single day. That didn't happen. Started here with day 1 saying 2025 is awesome. Did these little blob figures. That's actually kind of fun. Then the cityscape, color samples, and a drawing using my Polychromos pencils. I did these fishies. These were already drawn. Duffy-ish. Someone you know from memory. That's from memory. Haya oil pastels. I added to the feathers and the leaves. I practiced those water-soluble crayons I received from Crayola. Well, I bought, I guess. I don't know. Did some faces there. This one was fun with the Artisto colored pencils. Same with the Artisto colored pencils, just doing some mixes. That's as far as I got in this book, and I actually plan to do an entire video why these books don't work for me. That may still come out. We'll see. I received this calendar from Grabby, and in the video I did these 2 paintings for January and February and never touched them again. So I will cut the years off and just use this as paper because it is 100% cotton paper. It's actually pretty decent-ish to paint on. So those will be chopped and used. And in this sketchbook, I did this last page was just a swatch page for the Camel watercolors in March. The reason I haven't given you a tour of this sketchbook yet is because I have some unfinished pages I need to go back and finish. So I should probably put this in my unfinished bin. In this sketchbook here, I was trying to do portrait of Tommy Lee Jones without any guides. So it was just kind of a fun challenge for myself. It didn't turn out that well. And I didn't finish it. I just stopped. I lost interest. And then I did Skillshare class, Beginner's Guide to Portrait Drawing, where I did all this. More of it. Noses, mouths, ears. And that's it for that sketchbook. In my Hanamule sketchbook, this is at the Ian Roberts workshop I did in March. And then I did this too. I started the shapes in October and then finished, I consider it finished, in 2025. Then I did Tommy Lee Jones a little more seriously. This was a painting challenge for my Patreons, but I actually never finished this. I have like the base layers down and I don't have any of the finishing shadows, nothing in here yet. So that is unfinished. And then I teach this workshop at the college where we do all of this kind of stuff. So I tend to use this sketchbook for that because I don't really like this sketchbook. So it's a great one to use up for class demos and things like that. Plus it still works pretty consistently, although some of the sizing is starting to go bad in a few places. But I know what to expect from it, even though it's not my favorite one. And then I did use it for my aquatone yellows, greens, reds, blues. You'll see that on my channel. This was also part of the Aaron Blaze watercolor workshop. There was a painting, this painting, that he was teaching us how to do that day that I just did not like the painting, so I wasn't going to use really good paper for it. So I did it in here in the sketchbook that I don't like that well, using Marie's Masters watercolors, which are lovely, by the way. I taught that class again. I think I taught it like 3 times. Oh, hey, that doesn't need to be in there. Playing with different lamp blacks to show how you can get the effects, and then how other watercolors, not lamp black, can do the same thing. We did those same fur exercises. I just didn't finish the last 2. Ran out of interest. More of that class. And then I think I only have 3 or 4 pages to finish in this sketchbook. Yay! I've actually found kind of a love for the Canson XL sketchbook just for messing around. If you know Creative Paula on YouTube, if you don't know her, look her up if you like sketchbook work, because she's fun and amazing. Anyway, she will inspire you to do all kinds of things like this. So these are inspired by her, and then I taught these to my class and showed them her channel so they could get more inspiration. Aquatone watercolors. This was just something we did in my class as well, where we had 2 minutes to do a painting, 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes to do the exact same painting. That was fun. I don't know, I was showing them something here, but I can't remember what. And then we did the same thing here, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Love that. And this is kind of where I got the inspiration for the painting we did in my advent calendar. And this was untimed. I showed them how when you wet a paper and you go from back to front, how it'll start to dry, and then you get more distinct colors as you get closer to the front. And that's a super fun thing to do. And it turns out really pretty. Charlie O'Shields palette, testing that. So same palette, can get 2 completely different looks with it, which is fun. This was like a Michael Harding watercolor palette use up, like clean off. I love to do that in here and then go over it with line work. And then I was testing some different colors by Da Vinci that were gifted to me. Same here. This was a video I put up on my Patreon. I experimented. I tried something I was really excited about, and the masking fluid paper and I had a large disagreement. But I finished it. Just wasn't what I was hoping for, so I did not go on to do, I was going to do a really large painting, and this was my test for that first. Well, that large painting is no longer going to happen, at least not yet. And this was playing with new art supplies very recently here on my channel. In the Caddy Fat Book here, I did all of this Paul Rubens testing and all of that. Let's see, yeah, starting here. Some of the goodies I received for Christmas, birthday, palette clean out, and then all of this Paul Rubens color comparison, testing, consolidating that palette. It's a huge video I will link here. It is actually really informative, so check it out. And then testing some more lamp blacks here and different water and paper, because I wanted to try it on this Fat Book paper. Sometimes this weird paper can work better for certain effects, so that was a fun play. Color comparisons inspired by the very generous Michael Harding dot cards I received from a lovely person. I still have to, I have a thought in mind for a thank you for that. I'm working on it. Anyway, color comparisons are always fun, especially look at these. And then this was just probably my last video, or the video right before this one, or before that one. 2 befores. I don't know. I lose track sometimes, but lots of fun swatching. And that's it for that. And then I do have a Christy Rice Advent Calendar follow-up video coming up, but I did do a couple of these, I think 1 or 2 of these, which maybe I didn't put back in there, but you can see I did use the paint. I tried those out, have some things to say about them, but I will save that for that video. I think it is worth doing a follow-up video on that whole episode. Here's the Artvival journal. It was also part of that Advent calendar, and I did test this out because I wanted to see what I thought about the paper. She says she intentionally did not put cotton paper in here because she didn't want it to be precious. So I followed some of the prompts, and I did that page there. And I did this page. I guess that's all I did in this book. I thought I did one more, but it appears that I did not. So I'll let you know more about that follow-up video. And then in the Vibrant Wilds coloring book from Sarah Renee Clark, I started this piece here with Prismacolor colored pencils, which I still have gathered into here based on Sarah Renee Clark color cube color choices. That's what these pencils are. So these pencils here are creating this color combination so far. I mean, it's only indigo and the yellow that I've used so far, but same difference. Oh, here's the color cube card that I pulled for that, by the way. And then in the Dina Wakely journal, which I had plans of possibly trying to finish this in 1 year, and I had to do a certain number of pages a week. That didn't happen. But anyway, started this January of this year. Made my cover page. Made this. This is Duffy and I, and where is this? Lake M something in Canada. It was beautiful. It burnt down, just super sad. I mean, the lake obviously is still there, but everything burnt. This was a fun way to swatch my Aquatone watercolors and my Ohuhu acrylic markers. I love this page. I tested the Haya oil pastels. This is on the back side of this so-called watercolor paper, which is not really watercolor paper. On the burlap, I did this watercolor ground with Aquatone watercolors on the top. On the back side of it, I used oil pastels. I did this in my vehicle while I was waiting for an appointment. So I haven't sealed that yet, which is why this wax paper is still here. And then on this watercolor paper, not watercolor paper, I used my core watercolors and did this based on a Sarah Renee Clark color cube page. On the back side, I used the Haya oil pastels again. That worked pretty well, but again, that's not sealed. That's why I have this in here still. This was fun. I used casein on this linen paper, and I really enjoyed that. You can see it went through. I didn't try and seal that with anything. I didn't gesso it before I painted on it. I just painted on it, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So yes, it came through in a couple areas. That is not a problem for me. I love this painting. That is all I did in there, so I should probably take this with me. Well, that's all the artwork I can find that I so-called created so far. But like I said, there's probably some I've missed, but that's enough. I mean, this video went on way longer than it should have. So what are my 2026 goals, you might ask? Well, that's easy, and I already mentioned it to you in a video a month or two ago. In 2026, I just want to create more artwork. That's all I want to do. I have a fun plan for that. It's kind of like a 7-week rotation of certain things that I want to do. I want to work in my sketchbooks. I want to use supplies up. I want to work on large canvas paintings. I want to get through my unfinished pile of things and start finishing artwork. And then my other goal, so that's just part of creating more artwork. There's more things in that list. Oh, coloring books and instruction books and online classes. I'm going to rotate through all of those on my channel. It's going to be so much fun. So I hope you'll consider joining me every week for that. And the only other goal I have for 2026, other than to create more artwork, is to continue on my watercolor database project. I am trying to catalog all of my watercolors in swatches and in a spreadsheet. So I want to continue that. That'll be really useful because every time I go to create a palette, I am trying to find watercolors and I need to know, are they in half pans? Are they in tubes? Are they in full pans? Are they in non-movable palettes? And the Excel spreadsheet will tell me all of that based on the pigment name and the pigment number. So I can search either way. And the coolest thing about it too is that once I know I need a color, like if I need an ultramarine blue, I can pull these out and compare all of these side by side and just pick the one that I am looking for. So if I'm looking for a really bright ultramarine blue, I might choose this Mission Gold one. If I'm looking for a more muted one, I might choose this Aquatone one. And I can see these all side by side. It is really going to be a useful project once finished. It's already useful. I just need all the rest of my watercolors added to it for it to be completely useful. And part of that project too is getting all of the light fast swatches up in the window, which I've kind of lost steam for, yet every time I go to paint with something, I need that information. So I don't really trust the codes on the tubes for the light fast information, although that's a good place to start. Having my own test has been really helpful actually, so I am going to continue that project. I may do a little bit of that while I'm on my trip, I'm not sure. Well, that is enough of me talking. I hope that was enjoyable for you. and I'm excited for the new year. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Ooh, the bug. Whew, that's scary.
Got all wet and you just want to rub it on you.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Oh, puppy
So I
belly.
can get up and pop her back.
Aww. Those
Where did
feet.
you find water at?